sit however it's most comfortable for you. Whether that's a cross-legged position or perhaps sitting up on a bolster or block, or even coming to a kneeling position is entirely up to you. Just find your way into a position that affords your spine with a good deal of length while still allowing your shoulders and your hips and legs to be as comfortable as can be. Now that you've found your way into that posture, bring your eyes to close and start to just notice your breath as it comes and goes naturally. Now as you draw your breath in and out of the nose, find just a tiny little engagement at the back of the throat so that your breath naturally begins to slow down by some degree. You might bring a slight emphasis to your exhalations to help trigger more relaxation response. And allow your breath to strike a balance between being very intentional while remaining very comfortable. So we're never breathing so slowly or so deeply that the breath itself becomes a challenge. And then start to notice the posture again and bring the same quality of balance to the way that you're sitting. You might, for instance, find a little extra press down for the bones of your seat. And find that as you're rooting down more intentionally, you stem up with more ease. The spine becomes longer, the shoulders broad, the heart center open. So throughout our practice, as we entertain different shapes and forms, always invite this quality of balance between alertness and ease, intention and relaxation. So let's begin with our hands held together at the heart center. And with a deep breath in, raise the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. And as you exhale, rounding your back, stretch the arms straight forward and just take your tailbone into a little bit of a tuck. As you hold here, guide your breath into the space between your shoulder blades. And feel your whole mid-upper back broadening and softening. With another breath in, rise up to your center again. And then exhale as you just release the arms out and down. And with your next breath, raise the right arm up. When you breathe out, reach overhead to your left, just into a comfortable side stretch. And then as you reach down into the earth through your right sitting bone, roll your chest up to the sky, lift up your gaze. Take another breath. And with the release of the breath, you can release that arm down and rise up to your center. Okay. Inhale, raise your left arm. Exhale as you reach overhead to your right. Take a moment to root down into that left sitting bone and reach the chest up to the sky, breathing in. Stay for the release of the breath. Inhale again deeply. And as you exhale, just roll the arm down and rise up to your center. Okay. Now inhaling, lift two arms out and up again. And let's breathe out, releasing the hands down. We're going to climb up onto our hands and knees for a moment. With the knees still really wide apart, we'll open the feet wide and then pick up the knees so that the feet are standing about a leg's distance apart. We'll turn our toes out now to the corners of our mat and prop ourselves up into our fingertips so that rather than dropping into a deep forward bend, we're holding the torso about parallel to the spine. Find a long breath in, and as you exhale, bend just your right knee and gaze over to your left leg. You're going to keep that left foot firmly planted into the ground, and then inhale, extend the right leg. And as you exhale, bend the left. And we'll just travel side and side a few times, breathing into center, while the exhalations will alternately release us to one side or the other. And I'd encourage you to let your fingertips be really light so that they're more guiding the position of the torso than they are sharing the burden of weight. So this will allow our legs to start warming a bit. Breathe into center. Exhale to the side. And we'll visit each side just once again. Now coming back into the middle, take a breath. Point your toes straight forward. And as you release that breath, bring your hands to your hips. With your back long and strong, slowly rise up. Take a breath. Open your arms into a T. And then turn your toes to your right. And as you breathe out, bend the right knee into almost a 90-degree angle. So again, warming the legs, pull the legs in as you inhale deeply, raise the arms up. And then exhaling, bend that right knee again. And you'll find yourself in warrior two. Pulsing out again, inhale, raise the arms overhead as you extend the leg. Exhaling, bend the knee. Let that knee reach a little bit back toward the little toe. Inhale, lift. And exhale, extend. Inhale, lifting up. Lower belly is strong to support low back. Exhale as you reach out. And once again, inhale, rise up. And we'll exhale, keeping the low belly awake and the back leg strong. So now maintaining the lower body's position. Inhale, lift up your right arm and let your left hand just sneak down the back lower leg. Exhaling, bring your right elbow to your thigh and your left arm overhead. Again, toggling back, reverse warrior. Take a long breath in. Exhale as you extend, resting elbow to thigh while reaching left arm overhead. Deep breath in, lift. So try to keep that lower half of the body. Exhale as you extend. Completely still. For 2. One more time. Breathe in, rise up. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to either side of your right foot. Turn your body to the short side of your mat. Take a breath in, lifting your chest. As you exhale, start to straighten out that leg a bit. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale as again you extend the leg. So as you continue for a few more rounds, don't feel any pressure to straighten the leg completely. Only extend as much as it takes for you to feel a little bit of stretch opening up, while still maintaining space at your chest and length in your spine. Take a last lunge, deep breath in, and then turn your hands towards the long side of the mat, set your feet parallel, and as you breathe out, bring your hands to your hips. Rise up, take a breath. Open the arms, turn your toes to your left, and as you exhale, bend your left knee to just about 90 degrees. Raise the arms, extending the leg, deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend the knee, reaching out. Inhale, pull up and in through the low belly. Exhale, maintain that engagement as you bend the knee and reach. Right, and start to really feel your breath guiding you from here to there. You might find a longer, deeper breath is facilitated by the movement of the arms up overhead. Take one more. And as you drop into this version of warrior two, we'll hold the legs still and then reach back and forth. Deep breath in, reverse warrior. Open up the whole left side body and then exhale, extended angle. And again, inhale, rise up, get a little reach back, and exhale as you extend. For 3. Keep drawing that left knee a little bit back towards little toe. 2. Let your back leg be just as strong and supportive as the front leg. And a last time, rise up, deep breath in. And as you release it, place your hands down at either side of your left foot, turning your whole body towards the short side of the mat. Wait for your breath, lift up onto your fingertips, stretch your chest forward. And as you exhale, start to straighten out your front leg, bringing your nose kind of towards your knee. And then bend the knee again, inhale into a lunge. Exhale as you extend. Let's take 3 more rounds. We always move into a stretch on exhalation because our muscles are softening by some degree. Deep breath in. And exhale. And once again. Good, so lunge, but rather than turning to the long side of your mat, bring that back foot up. And set your feet up to be about hip or shoulder width distance apart. And then fold as you breathe out. Just nod your head once or twice, yes and no. Maybe walk out your legs for a moment. Give yourself some time to get settled in. And as you inhale, bending your knees, slowly rise up tall. You're just going to circle your shoulders up to your ears and pull them back and down as you breathe out. Now taking your hands together at the heart center, find a deep breath in and lift the arms up. You might reach a tiny bit back. And as you exhale, come into a long forward bend. Inhaling, step your right foot to the back of your mat. You'll be in a lunge. And when you breathe out, bring yourself into a downward facing dog. And let's just hold there for a few moments, feeling a tiny bit of softness at the elbows. And then hug the elbows in toward one another. So there's a lot of stability opening up across your shoulders. And along with that, really actively engage your belly and legs to pull your weight up and back away from your hands. Come into a plank when you breathe in. Let's keep our arms straight, but as we exhale, we'll lower our hips down just enough that we start to feel a little back bend emerge. As we inhale, let's draw the shoulders back, firm up the thighs and lift up the gaze, and then exhale back into a down dog. Good. Let's now lift up the right leg, and as you're holding that right leg up, feel for leveling your hips to the ground. Find a few moments actively reaching your leg up and back. It'll connect you to a little bit more stretch through your left leg. So continue to relax that left leg and let your heel be heavy. Take another deep breath in. When you breathe out, round your back, bring your shoulders right on top of your wrists. See if you can touch your right knee to your nose and hover on your left toes. Inhale, stretch the leg back. And again, exhale, hug the knee in. See if you can connect. And one more time, reach back, breathe in. Exhaling, hug the knee in. Lift up through your belly. Take a breath, stepping forward. Open your chest, and then fold at the front of your mat as you exhale, stepping 2 feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, stand tall. Lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Again, inhale, lift the arms. Maybe find a little bit of a reach back, and as you breathe out, fold forward. Find a breath stepping your left foot back. As you exhale, return to downward facing dog. Again, holding it for a little while, soften the elbows a smidge and hug them in. Lift the tailbone up and strengthen the legs. Come to plank when you breathe in. Lower just the hips as you exhale, coming into this modified upward facing dog. Inhale, lift up your chest, press back through your heels, lift up your gaze, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Raise your left leg, take a breath, and we're just gonna hold that leg square to the ground for a little while, so it's not real high. As we level off the hips, we'll start to feel a bit more opening through the right leg. Breathe comfortably. When you breathe out next time, round the back. Bring your knee to your nose. Hover. Inhale, extend back. Exhaling, hug in and hover. Inhale back. Exhale, hug in. And then step forward. Take a breath in, looking forward. Exhale to the front of your mat. Find a forward bend. Standing tall, rise up as you breathe in. Exhale, hands to heart. So building on that, inhale, lift the arms. Reach back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Then exhale, bring your left leg back into downward dog. As you inhale, come back into your plank position. Exhaling, lower your hips. Inhale, lift up your chest and gaze. Exhale, press back down dog. Raise your right leg, take a breath. Exhale, hug your knee in. Inhale, step forward, look forward. Exhale, fold at the front of your mat. Rising up, breathe in. Reach the arms overhead and maybe a little bit back, and then exhale, hands to the heart center. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot steps back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Open the plank, breathing in. Lower the hips, exhaling. Pull the shoulders back, inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift up your left leg. Exhale as you hug your knee in. Really strengthen your belly. And then step forward as you breathe in, lengthening. And fold at the front of your mat as you exhale. Rise up, inhale. Bring your hands to your heart, exhale. So let's lift up the arms. Take a deep breath in. And this time as you exhale and fold forward, see if you can grab onto your big toes. It's fine to bend the knees quite a bit. It's better that your back be long and supported than that your legs be perfectly straight. Right? So soften up. Find the moment opening your chest. And as you breathe out next time, draw the elbows out and gaze right through your legs. So you might slow the exhalations down a little further. And if you find that it's comfortable to extend your legs further, you can certainly make that adjustment. But remember that the intention is to balance intention with relaxation. So the posture is challenging, but still comfortable. Take a breath, softening your knees, look forward. As you let go of your toes, step your right foot to the back of your mat. And then turn to face the long side of your mat again. So this time, let's set our feet up to be parallel to one another. And then as you're breathing in, lift up the tailbone. Feel how open your chest can be. And as you exhale, walk your hands through your legs to fold. So as you're holding your fold, keep your legs strong and actively engaged. Continue to hold your chest as open as can be. And to breathe comfortably. Look forward as you breathe in next time. Find your way into a flat back, rising up just halfway. And then pause, and as you exhale, just bring your hands to your hips, giving yourself a moment to get your balance. When you breathe in again, stand up tall, open up the arms, turn your toes to your right. And we'll take a triangle pose. So pull your right hip back, reach your right hand forward beyond your toes, and then let your hand take rest any place on the leg that's comfortable. Whether that's above the knee or below it is up to you. If it's all right for your neck that your gaze be lifted, you'll find that your heart follows your gazing point. So as we turn our gazes up, we might notice that the top shoulder naturally draws a little bit back. If your neck is sensitive though, looking down towards your right big toe might be a better alternative. So whichever your choice, find one place to rest your gaze, and then hold the gaze completely still, which helps to support the quieting of the mind. Taking a few long, deep breaths here, sense into how open you can be, how strong and stable, how alert and still how relaxed. Gaze down for balance. Take a breath, slowly rising up. Pivot your feet to the opposite side. And then exhale, pull the left hip back, reach the left fingertips forward, and then rest your hand wherever it may. So rest your gaze on your one point, whether that's up or down is up to you. And then tune into a sense of strength without tension. Let your leg muscles hug the bones. Feel your back getting longer. Your arms really awake. But nothing is rigid. Look down for balance. And rather than rising up, let's bend the left knee, turn to face the short side of the mat again, and then step back into a plank position. So we'll hold this plank, and as we're holding, we'll feel for letting the chest reach forward while the heels reach back. So the spine is as long as can be. Now, if your low back feels sensitive here, or if you have some wrist sensitivity, you can place your knees down onto the floor, but continue to wake up your belly and support the low back from there. Right. So while you're resting your gaze on one point, rest your attention on your breath and on what it feels like to be in the shape. Give it your best, give it your strength, your patience, your curiosity, your endurance. We'll stay for one more deep breath in. And as we exhale, let's lower all the way down onto the belly really gradually. And then from here, bend your knees and see if it's comfortable to hold your ankles. Now, if you have a knee concern, you might like to, as an alternative, rest your hands on the floor and approach bow almost like a cobra position. But if you're comfortable hanging onto your ankles, grab on. With your next breath in, lift your knees and then press the feet back. All right, so look forward and up and let your heart follow your gaze. Find a calm, steady breath. Feel a little bit of a hug of your inner legs toward one another. And then release. So now place your hands next to your heart, lift up into a baby cobra, and as you press through your hands and knees, breathe out, tuck your toes, and return to a downward dog. Let the focus of this down dog be the release of the spine. Right, so really actively engage your legs to pull your weight back so that your back can almost hang in traction. With your next breath, lift up the right leg and then step the right foot all the way forward and place the back knee down. All right, so I'm going to continue to mirror you. So what you'll do is lift up your low belly, turn your heart toward me, and then see if you can slide your left elbow just outside of your thigh and place your hands together at your heart. As you breathe in, lift your chest up towards your prayer. Lift your gaze up to the ceiling. And if you feel steady, tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. So rest your gaze on one point. Find your way into a comfortable breath. Look down to the floor for balance. Slowly rise up tall as you breathe in. And then turn your whole body to the other side of your mat. And as you bend your left knee, bring your right knee down. All right, so lift up onto your thigh. Just rest your hands on your leg. Start to settle a little bit toward a lunge. Find a breath lifting your low belly. Twist towards me. And as you breathe out, slide the right elbow down. Hands come to the heart. Lift up your gaze as you breathe. While your heart is rotating to the ceiling, feel your hips turning toward the floor. And then if you have the space, pick up that back knee. So it's really natural to find that twisting interferes with balance. If you find that your balance feels really uncertain, looking down towards your front big toe tends to be a little bit more stabilizing. So comfortable, easy breath. And then gaze down. Bring your hands to the floor and step back into downward dog. So from here, let's bring our knees down a little bit wide. Draw the toes together and take a quick rest in child's pose. So as we come to child's pose, it's an opportunity to just kind of find our way back into a really easy, comfortable breath, to neutralize the low back again, and just really to connect to earth. So I like to even just stack my hands, rest my forehead on my hands, and emphasize the exhalations for just about 3 deep rounds of breath. All right, so from here, let your hips lift up. Walk your knees a smidge inward and bring your elbows onto the floor. Now, if your shoulders are flexible, leaving your forearms parallel is a really good challenge for the shoulders. If your shoulders are a little bit tense though, interlacing your fingers is a great way to modify this posture. So setting up for dolphin, it's just like downward dog, except that you'll find that with your elbows on the floor, it's got a little bit more attitude. So I'm gonna step my feet in a bit. And like I did in downward dog, I'm pressing my thighs back. And I'm engaging my belly to lift the weight of the posture up and away from my arms. As I'm holding the shape, I'm hugging my elbows in toward one another, keeping my neck relaxed, but you'll notice my head is not on the floor. If your head is touching the floor, it might be that you're bending the elbows too much or that the elbows are set up too wide, right? So we're gonna keep those elbows tucked in and create an inverted V shape as much as possible from the elbows, through the shoulders, up to the hips and down to the heels. A long, comfortable breath. And we'll stay for about 5 more rounds. It's an intense posture, right? Let it be. Try not to fight it. Relax into the challenge. And as you release the breath, gradually lower your knees. Lifting up your elbows, take a breath, open up your chest, and then breathe out and round the back. Find that again as you inhale, lift up your chest, draw the shoulders away from ears, and then exhale as you round. One more time, inhale, open up into a little back bend. And as you exhale, round. Start to walk your fingertips back, and we'll rise up to stand on our knees, setting up for another back bend called camel. I like to tuck my toes under, but it's a matter of comfort whether you want to keep your feet flat or tucked. And then begin with your hands resting on the small of your back. And I'm actually more comfortable when my fingers point up, but again, it's just a matter of personal preference. Hug the elbows in, and as you press down for your sacrum, take a breath in that lifts the chest. With an exhalation, start to drop back. Consciously maintaining as much space as you can between the back of the ribs and the back of the hips. So you might continue to hold your low back for a little bit of extra support. If you're comfortable holding onto your ankles or heels, the hands can come to the feet. The hips are going to remain on top of the knees. And if you're still up for a little bit more challenge, toes can come down. Okay, so comfortable breath. And then place your hands on your back. Softly rise up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, have a seat back onto your heels and just rest your hands on your lap for a moment. So just take about 3 deep breaths here, letting your spine become neutral. And then as you place your hands on the floor right alongside of the knees, lift up your seat, tuck your toes under, and then rise up into a half forward bend. So I'm gonna have my hands right underneath my shoulders. My arms are just about vertical. My hips might pull a hint back behind my heels. That's just gonna add to some sense of tractioning and lengthening the low back. And I'm just gonna hang out here for about 2 more deep breaths. So I'm not rounding the lower back into a counter pose from the previous posture, but I'm really lengthening and neutralizing. So we'll take 1 more breath here, and while we're breathing in, let's interlace fingers behind the back, stretch the arms up to the sky, and as you exhale, now fold forward. Gaze through your legs. Feel your mid-upper back really actively engaging to hug the shoulder blades in. And like before, bend your knees as much as it takes to keep your back really comfortable. And then release your hands down to the ground again. We're just going to take one more adventure pose. So setting up for a crow pose, or you might know it in the Sanskrit as Bakasana. We'll have the hands a good distance in front of the feet. Mine are about 12 inches in front of my toes. As I soften my knees, I'm going to press my palms firmly, and I'm keeping my hands relatively wide apart. So my pinky fingers are just about to touch the long sides of my mat when my fingers are spread really wide. Like we did earlier in downward dog, if we soften the elbows a little bit and then hug them in, we'll feel that the shoulders are really stable. And then we'll look ahead towards the front of the mat, lift up the heels and lean forward, pressing the knees into the upper arms. So right here, you're already going to start feeling a lot of the power of the posture. There's no pressure to pick up the feet. Right? We start to lift the feet when we've moved the shoulders far enough forward that the weight of the body leverages the feet naturally to rise up. So if you feel like trying 1 or 2 feet, come on up. We're going to stay for 3 more deep breaths. Palms are pressing firmly for 2. And then to lower down, we'll just gently place those feet down. Extend the legs out, take a breath, and fold as we release it. You can give your head a little bit of a nod, yes and no. And then walk your hands a bit forward. Place your knees down. And if you just cross your ankles, you'll be able to transfer your weight easily to your seat. So let's now extend our legs straight forward. I like to adjust the legs by grabbing onto the thigh and roll the inner thigh down while lifting the outer thigh up. Right? So it just gives me a really nice ability of plugging the bones of the seat into the floor. So sitting up really tall, take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, feel as though you're pulling your leg bones back into your hip sockets to begin folding forward. Right? So you might walk your hands alongside of the legs. If you're comfortable grabbing onto your feet, you certainly can, but we're really not interested in that destination. Right? We're always most interested in balancing challenge with ease. So breathe in deeply. Legs are really strong. Breathe out completely. Relax into the challenge and hold for another 4 deep breaths. Rise up as you breathe in. And then just slide your hips forward and recline onto your back. All right. So let's cross right ankle over left knee. Flex that right foot, and as you're drawing the left leg in towards your belly, let your right knee nudge a little bit away from your shoulders. So as you tune into some challenge surfacing through your outer right hip, see how heavy your back can be. Can you let the backs of your hips stay flat on the floor? Keep the head and shoulders relaxed. And just breathe comfortably. Then open up the arms. You can cross the right knee the rest of the way over the left knee and drop your legs over to your left while you turn your chin to the right. So as you fall into the spinal twist, relax your shoulders into the earth. They may or may not actually touch, which really doesn't matter. Let them sort of fall into that direction. If you find that this is a little bit too intense on your low back, uncrossing your legs is a bit more gentle. So take on only as much sensation as you're able to maintain that connection to comfort and to an easy breath. Rise up to your center, breathe in. Uncross your legs and give your knees a hug. Good. So now just switch it up. Cross left ankle over right thigh, near but not quite on the knee. And then flex this foot and guide the left knee away from your shoulders while you draw the right leg in. So hips are still heavy, shoulders still soft. Left foot is still active. It helps to protect the knee. Open your arms. Cross the knee over the bottom knee. And then roll your legs over to your right while you turn your chin to the left. Take a couple of comfortable breaths. Then return to the center, uncross the legs, and hug your knees into your chest. So now lastly, let's draw the soles of the feet together with the knees a bit wide apart. And we're going to lift up the head and shoulders and reach through the legs to grab onto the outer feet. And then without any sense of expectation, just find a real easy pull of heels towards head and head towards heels. Not at all trying to force the feet behind the head, but instead just kind of relax the low back and feel how this creates a whole release of the back body. Take another breath. And then begin to release your legs. You might just gaze forward and take a brief moment hovering the whole body a few inches up off of the mat. And then finally lay your whole body to rest in a final relaxation of Shavasana. As you slide into your Shavasana, let your whole body be totally free of effort. Relax your toes and feet. Feel your ankles and your legs all the way up through your knees and hips, soft and heavy. Relax your hands and arms, your back and belly, your chest, shoulders, neck, and head. Let go of even the management of your breath. Let absolutely everything be completely passive and easy. And offer your body a good 5 minutes of stillness to integrate the energy and the work of your practice. So now just begin to very gently wiggle fingers and toes, and in a real gradual and subtle way, stir your body back into life. So you might enjoy a long reach of the arms back, accompanied by a deep breath in, and then we'll just start to walk our feet in. Your knees rock a little bit from side to side, and ultimately turn all the way over onto one side or the other. And then from your side lying position, gradually climb up to find your way back into a really comfortable seated posture. I would encourage you to let your eyes stay closed for a few moments longer, just to really tune into the experience of being in the body. Grounding attention and presence, bringing awareness again to breath. And then drawing your palms together at your heart center. Take a moment to just softly bow your head, and as you bow your head toward your heart center, in all sincerity, acknowledge and celebrate your commitment to your practice. And give yourself thanks for creating some space and time in your day to welcome a bit more space into your body and mind. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for joining me today.